Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Steve Ponce. I'm the transition specialist for WorkAbility here for this Mid-Alameda County SELPA. And I'm going to go through what we have for WorkAbility, what it looks like, what we do, and some of the partnerships that we have. And so we'll go through a presentation. It'll take probably 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll have time for Q&A after that. All right. So if you do have any questions, write them down and we'll deal with them all at the end of the presentation. So here we go. WorkAbility, yes, it is dedicated to the Mid-Alameda County SELPA. So my charge is for the 4 unified school districts, Castro Valley, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, and Hayward. And we're going to go through what exactly is WorkAbility. And this is a program that provides high school students that are already receiving the special education services. We want to bring instruction and fresh experiences to help them in their search for gainful employment. If it doesn't lead to gainful employment, then we also want to be able that we can facilitate transition to post-secondary opportunities or even life after the adult transition program. What do we provide? We provide pre-employment skills training, employment placement. We have a follow-up program for high school students a year after they've left the school district. And this follow-up program is also tracked by the CDE, California Department of Education. And those follow-ups we either do by phone call based on information that we have, and or it can be done through an e-survey with the assistance of guardians and parents sometimes. We also offer skills training in obtaining and retaining employment. We do a lot of things around interest and career awareness. And with the support of family, school, and community, we want to help the students so they can make that successful transition to the next part of their life, whatever that's going to be. Along the way here, we're going to look at some of the students in action where they're working right now. These are the adult transition students. And our first business partner is Roundtable Pizza. 2 locations, Hayward and San Lorenzo. Our student workers there, they wipe tables, fold boxes, clean windows, sweep floors. And yes, they're always looking for a free slice of pizza for their hard work. You cannot believe how much of a motivation that is. So here's some of our students that are working. One of them is filling the condiments for people to take. You know, you pick up your pizza, you got Parmesan cheese and peppers. The other one is filling the napkin boxes. Here they are folding the boxes for the takeout pizzas. This seems like it would be very tedious, but it's actually very helpful to a lot of our students, but it gives them a focus, something to work on, and then obviously being able to use their hands and see what the finished product is going to be with. It's actually a very good project for them to work. Usually at the round table, they're there between 2 to 3 hours a day, well, one day during the week that they're there with their classroom. So what does WorkAbility offer to our students? We talked about job search assistance, and we talked about job application assistance. We also offer resume writing techniques, cover letter writing. We can do job interview coaching. Now, this would be for job interviews as they transition, as some of the seniors or people that are aging out in the adult transition. There could be a business that's interested in hiring them. So yes, we can help with the interview coaching. We do career interest assessments throughout the school year, usually 2 or 3 times. Have them look at and explore career preparation. We have also started self-advocacy tips, which are very important for our students to be able to be their own advocates. So we do have access to some online training that the teachers can utilize, and I'll go through some of the online systems that we use to help with that self-advocacy. Worksite coaching and supervision. We use the classroom paraprofessionals as worksite coaches. I train them on what to do, what the expectation of a job coach is, also train them on what to do in an emergency. Say one of the students gets hurt, what to do, how to fill out the accident form, and also to realize that through the grant, the CDE, we do have insurance coverage, liability and individual coverage for the student workers. This is a big relief to our business partners because now they know that not only do they get great work basically for free, but also that the student workers are covered by insurance. Job retention techniques, we work on work-related conflict resolution skills, meaning is that sometimes things get a little close on where they're working. So how to calm down and reach out to the job coach if they're feeling a little intimidated. We have work-based learning that goes on at the locations. And then we have many transition resources that we'll go through. The worksite place students receive pay at the set minimum rate per hour. Does anybody out there know what the minimum rate pay is right now for non-fast food? Anybody? It's $16.50 an hour. In January, it'll go up to 17. Now, it goes up 50 cents every year. So right now at $16.50 per hour, we have some students that are making a pretty good paycheck for the hours that they're working over a month. Some more of our students in action, Walgreens. Walgreens has been very supportive. We actually had 2 locations. The location I'm going to show you is the one at Hesperian and Winton, down by the Hayward Airport. We had the second location in San Leandro at 136th. However, unfortunately, it was one of the Walgreens that Walgreens decided to close. We were very sad to lose that resource because they were very supportive of our students and the work that they did. So here's our gang doing what they love to do. They will rotate the stock. They go through training in the classroom that I help facilitate so they can look for expired dates, so they recognize dates, how to take them off the shelf, make them as take backs to the back room. Maybe they'll just rotate things, sweep the floors, clean the shelves, and so forth. The other part of this with the workability, it would be the community-based training end of taking public transportation. So many of these students, if they can't walk to where they're working, then they need to take public transportation. AC Transit is the choice, and workability does provide for the AC Transit bus tickets for these students to be able to do that. So it's good for them to get out of the classroom. They're not only learning what to do with the work, but they're also taking the public transportation along with their job coaches. And some more of our students, excuse me, at Walgreens. And that's one of our job coaches there, explaining to them what the dates are. Let's take a look a little deeper of what workability does offer our students. We have career vocational assessments. This is to help them identify their school and post-career interests and goals. We find this very much needed to do, and it changes through the school year. So normally I would do the first one sometimes towards the end of August. Well, the teachers have their classroom set. Then we'll come back again and do it before holiday break. And then by the end of the school year, in May, which is always a busy month, we'll do it again because their interest changes. And for those that are aging out or graduating or moving on, it's interesting to see how their interest assessments have changed. We also help the students understand that the decisions that they're making, they will add up and help them with their life after their school right now. So there is life after Royal Sunset. There is life after Roy Johnson. That's where we want to make sure that they get the skill set and the mental set as well. Career preparation, we do activities, learning experience, to increase their career awareness. It can be work-based either on site using the store managers, store owners, or excuse me, the job coaches or myself, or we'll do it in classroom. The old term for it is role play. I like to call it practice sessions, so we can get them used to doing things. We use the practice session of bagging groceries, which then led to success at one of the work sites that we'll talk about. I mentioned interest assessments, and these are two of the interest assessments that we use. And they're really fun to go through with the students. I conduct them with the classrooms. The teachers are kind enough to put these assessments up on the big TV screens. And I must say, it's really nice to go to these classrooms where they have a nice big touch screen TV screen. It makes it really easy for everyone to see and for me to work through it. But what this is, it's simply we work through a set of pictures. The one on the bottom is about 18 pages long. And we'll go through and discuss the pictures. And really what the students are doing are placing an X under the task that they choose, meaning I like that task. I can see that task. We'll do that one, and by doing it as a class and discussing each picture, the input that we get from all the students in the classroom actually helps clarify to some, oh, that's what that is. Oh, I didn't know that. So it's a good way to do both of these by facilitating it as a cooperative effort from the room. After these are done, I take them and I have a scoring rubric that I use. I scan them and keep them for audit purposes for the CDE. And then the teachers get the originals back, and then they'll either review them with the students on their own, or we'll review them together. And this way it fulfills any requirements that might be needed as far as interest assessment for the students. Also gives us an idea of who might be looking for what type of business partner we want to look for in the future. Okay, so we're looking at some of these skill assessment tools, and we use quite a few. One big one that we use is PREETS, which is a series of notebooks that we have assessments, we have conversations, we have scenarios. So depending on the level of the class, I can bring this and sit down with the teachers, and we can decide what is going to be good to go with the class. Some of the times I can run these. A lot of the times I'm coaching the teachers on how to do this, and then they're going to run it with their class later and then fill out feedback so I know how that goes. Because sometimes it's hard to get the exact time to get those done. We also have online quite a few career sources. We have My Next Move, which is actually part of OneNet. Here there are assessments. There are also syllabuses that teachers can download and work their students through. We have a site called Teacher Pays Teachers, which it works like a Padlet. So there's a lot of input in there. Some of it you have to pay for, but if you can be resourceful enough, you can find some really great free downloadable features in here that I've used with the classrooms. We also use Career One Stop. They use that in the classroom. Again, that's a nice resource from the Department of Labor that they can go in and even look at sample videos of what it looks like to gather shopping carts in a parking lot, or even what it's like to be a teacher. One of the ones that we pay for and the WorkAbility budget takes care of providing this to the teachers would be Conover Online. And this is a great tool. The teachers, they get their own, excuse me, login information, and through this site, they can download anything from community-based training to soft skills to self-advocacy, which is the one that a few of the teachers are working on right now. And it's an online. They can either run it themselves for the teachers, and or they can assign it individually to students. And then a parent can work with the student in the classroom in order to get through it. So it's one of the better tools. We do pay for it, and it is part of the budget, but the teachers really do appreciate having this available to them. Well, what else does WorkAbility offer the students? Well, we have awareness and exploration and activity, so we can provide opportunities. And again, like I said, we can do this either on site somewhere, or we can do it as practice role play sessions in the classroom. We do help prep for job search. We've been using a lot of skill sets, some of the 21st century skills, which would be like collaboration, communication, creativity, the big three C's right there. And then we also use some other skill sets based for child and adolescent needs skills with the students and with the teachers. And then we have based learning, which it includes participation in classroom and community-based experience. And that could be just as far as maybe somebody's interested in working at a library. We don't have any jobs at a library, but we can give them the opportunity to take AC Transit to a library and talk to the librarians ahead of time so they can work with the students, so they can see what goes on. That's actually one of the favorite locations for these based learnings. More students in action. So we have 2 grocery outlet locations, San Lorenzo and San Leandro. They'll clean the shelves, stock shelves, collect the carts, return go backs and sweep floors. Both grocery outlet locations are very supportive of our students being there. They have been for a while. One of them we've had for 5 years as a partner. That's the one in San Lorenzo, and the one in San Leandro came on board 3 years ago. So they're very, very excited about helping our students working in their stores. Let's take a look at what the eligibility requirements are for, excuse me, paid placement in the adult transition program. The first and foremost is safe, sanitary, and appropriate behavior. It's a must for our workability students. If you think of what the qualities that employers want from students, it's really the same for our workability students. So to be eligible for subsidized placement, not only the appropriate behavior, but they must do the following. They must have a current and active IEP, be 18 to 22 years of age, enrolled in school, understand and practice basic safety skills, presenting no major safety concerns, and exhibit an ability to complete specific tasks, being able to do what they've been told and be able to focus. I take that back to the folding of the pizza boxes, and I mentioned how that's actually a good activity because it teaches them to be focused and to be very precise on folding the box. Express a desire and or demonstrate a willingness to work. This is really on the student. They need to be able to have that willingness to want to go to work. 85% attendance at school in all classes. That's not negotiable. And maintain a minimum grade point of 2.0. They have to have all employment forms completed and cleared before starting work. And there is, each package is about 8 forms long. And these are forms that have been gathered through the WorkAbility program. And they're everything from a parent guardian permission or health report. And there's some information in it that the student can fill out on their own. We have 2 types of students that are going to go to work. We have the returning students that have a package already on file with us that has been vetted through our HR department, and therefore they've been approved to work. And then we have new students, and new students have the same paperwork except something added to it, and that is the Homeland Security I-9 information, meaning the right to work in the United States. If you're still confused of what that is, that's, you got to show one of either like a passport or a Social Security, California ID, something like that, that shows that you have the right to work here in the United States. Each year, whether they're returning or new, they have to fill out a new packet. We take the packet, and like I said, I review it, give it back for any mistakes that might be there or revisions, and then I'll make sure that it's approved and it goes to HR. As soon as HR gets it and approves it, they're good to go. The one thing we like to remind the students and parents and guardians is that paid placement is not a guarantee. It is a privilege. We have some students working at a sports goods in San Leandro called West Coast Sporting Goods. They're down off, where are they? Williams and Alvarado. It's a warehouse. But if you have anyone that plays baseball or soccer here in the Bay Area, they probably go there to get a lot of their sporting goods. And here they do hanging clothes for displays. They sweep floors. They break down boxes. The owner of this company has a child who is special needs themselves. And so that owner is incredibly supportive and empathetic of our coming there and working with him and his staff. He's just a gem to work with. And so here's some of our students doing what you said they do. They're working in the sports store. They don't get pizza there, but he does award everybody with a dip in the big candy bowl at the end of the work shift. So if you ask them what they like, it's about the candy. So that's a good thing for them. Let's take a look for the criteria for subsidized placement. The student's case manager, school staff, or any other member of the IEP team can make referrals to the workability specialist, that would be me, to identify eligible students. And yes, there is a referral form that the teachers get every year, so they can fill that out, and we'll sit down and talk about it. The workability specialist will evaluate the work readiness of the student, and I will do this with cooperation of the teacher. It could be in cooperation with their OT as well, and maybe cooperation of their speech therapist, if it's going to take that. For the student, which will include behavior history, attendance, and academic performance. Priority will be given to the students in the following order. The students in the adult transition program, their high school special needs, and high school who are 18 to 22 years of age. I do want to make this disclaimer about why we focus right now so much on the adult transition students for placement. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult for students in the high school, regular high school, to do that because of the way the high schools are structured. Maybe they can partner with the ROP, but there's also a state law that came into effect last year where if the student worker is under 18 years of age, then several people at the work partnership location must agree to be fingerprinted, and those fingerprints have to go on file with the state. So because of that, our adult transition students are over the age of 18, so it's much easier for us now to go ahead and get them into work that way. It's unfortunate that that's how the new law reads, but it's a little bit of a handicap for us because there are some students in the high schools, especially seniors, that are not 18 that possibly could work through workability, but it's just too difficult to get the businesses to agree to being fingerprinted. We have students at Chabot College Cafe. They wipe the tables, chairs, take care of things in the cold case, organize the chips. They will use the sanitary red liquid buckets. If anyone that's worked in food service before knows that's a mandatory thing, you have to use that red bucket that's got the sanitation liquid in it. This is actually a very culturally social area for them to work because there's a lot of students in there, and a lot of the students eating or studying or doing their homework will talk to our students. So it's really good for that communication aspect of it. And here's some more of them working. That's one of the job coaches there. This organization that runs the Chabot College Cafe, they specialize in running these types of cafeterias. They also run the one out of Ohlone College, but Ohlone College was just too far for us to try to get to. Otherwise, that would have been another opportunity for us. So what's in it for the businesses, you might ask? Well, this is what they get. They get student workers that are excited and ready to come to work. They get our job coaches, our paras that we train as job coaches, so they can be the go-between the student workers and the employers. And like I said, we make sure that the job coaches are well educated on what to do in case of emergencies. It's my job to always put the local businesses at ease, then go over the insurance coverages that we have for them. The employee wages are paid by the WorkAbility grant from CDE. We always look for potential additional grants. So if you know of anybody out there that's just dying to give up some money, let us know and we can build it into the WorkAbility grant. The employers consistently tell us that their employees and their customers really like seeing our WorkAbility students there. I think it's good publicity for the business. And also, we have flyers that go out when we attend events that shows their business prominently displayed. So that in a way, they're getting free work. We're paying for it. They're getting students that want to work, and they're getting marketing. I mean, it's a win-win-win all the way around. We have students in action at Artiega's Food Center. We have two locations, one on A Street and one on Jackson. And they will do whatever it takes in that store. These are great stores. You know, if you're looking for anything out of the way and you don't have time to go into a huge chain market, check these stores out. Full meat departments, anything you want. And if they have a great taqueria for food to go, if you want to dive into that. But they really welcome our students. This is the one on A Street, and this is the one on Jackson. The one on Jackson, the store manager, her son is a special needs student, so she's very supportive of our program as well. I mentioned how it's pride and the businesses can have their armed workers there, and it's good for the customers. This location, I was able to get them to give our workers the Artiega's official polo shirts for them to wear when they went to the location. And this really made, you could tell by the picture down in the corner with the four of them. There's a sense of pride with these folks there. But not only that, it helps distinguish them from anyone else in the store. So they feel good, and the customers coming in know that they are there working. And both stores are very heavy on Spanish speaking, and fortunately, a lot of these students are fluent in Spanish, so they can have conversations with the customers and help them as well. Our local business partners, here they are again: Walgreens, Round Table, Grocery Outlet, Chapeau College Cafe, West Coast Sporting Goods, Artiega's Food Centers. Each year, I try to find 3 more. If you know of any businesses you think that would be willing, just pop it in the chat or get back to me or Michelle or Yoko. We'd appreciate that. That would be huge for us because that means we now have more opportunity, more business partners where we can have our students work. And quite frankly, if we could get more businesses where they're able to walk to, it helps speed up the amount of time where they can work. So instead of relying on public transportation, as great as a learning experience as that is, it takes away from, it's time away from the classroom that's not being spent at the work. Each business partner will receive something suitable for framing. We started this last year. It's like soccer, Little League sponsored trophy. Thank you. And we started to give these out last year, and it was a big hit. They really appreciate receiving these. It was something that they didn't get before, but now they get that with a nice typed letter showing appreciation and how much we look forward to working with them next school year. So this is important. We're not just thanking them for now, as we hand them this with the letter. It's a thank you and planting the seed that yes, we want to come back next year, and August 10th, I will be calling you or coming back in person. So it serves 2 forms. Thank you, and yes, we think that much of you. We want to continue the business. So we've talked about what WorkAbility does to support the students off campus. Let's talk a little bit about what about those that don't leave the campus? Because not everybody is going to go to work off site. Okay, but WorkAbility still works with them. This is I love this. This is a collaborative day for Valentine's. It's a Valentine's craft making day at San Lorenzo Royal Sunset. They spent the day making these crafts, and they're going to sell them to other students at Royal Sunset and or the parents that come in to pick up their students as well. It's quite successful every year that they do this. Um, I do help them get some funds for the materials that they use, and we make sure that before this is done that they've practiced their soft skills in the classroom because everyone that approaches them is a customer. So we want to make sure they know how to greet the customer, thank the customer, and for those that can work through the money handling, they can do that as well. This is also at Royal Sunset. We have a coffee cart business, first time. So we help, excuse me, them purchase their coffee and some of the other supplies that are there. This is really going gangbusters for them because they can make their own coffee in the cafeteria and then bring it out to the cart and go around the different classrooms and so forth. And they are selling their coffee. So again, it's one of those things. We get to work on ahead of time in classrooms, the soft skills, they get to put those soft skills into practice while they're working with the coffee cart. And you can see in the middle picture, there's a little box there with money in it. So again, working on currency, how to work with the money, how to handle things, and how to be thankful for the customer's business. This was the first year for this coffee cart, and we look forward to expanding this to another location. Um, Not necessarily Hayward, Sunset, since they already have a Mocha Cafe, but we're thinking of probably San Leandro, the new San Leandro Adult School down there. So that would work well there. This is at Castro Valley at Roy Johnson. They make gift cards, gift bags, I should say, that they hand out. They're for sale during holiday season. They also make these lacquer boxes that you see, which they will sell as well. We did get permission for one day during the week to actually sell up at Cafe 4 in Castro Valley, which is up at the top of the hill. Um, if you know where the three crosses are, it's in there. So we were able to get one day for them to go there and sell these things. It worked quite well. They weren't willing to give us any more than one day, but we took one day, and that was a fantastic experience for the classroom. They also sold some honey. So Roy Johnson, the teacher there, Mo Gaholi, she is a beekeeper. So she lives in Castro Valley. So she has a label for Roy Johnson honey, and so wherever they can, we'll go out and we'll sell the honey as well. So these are things that are taking place on campus for those that can't get away or don't want to leave the classroom for workability. And then we have one last thing. We just started this a couple months ago, so we're going to have our first batch of dog biscuits coming up in May. This is a packet that walks a class through if they have access to a kitchen. That's the key. So like Castro Valley, there's a class that has access to a kitchen, right? Hayward, they have access to a kitchen. Um, it tells you how to make, mix, and bake dog biscuits. Then you bag them up and you sell them. So there are other workability districts that are doing this with great success. So yes, I saw something I liked, I stole it. So we're going to do this, and I think it'll be really good. Because I mean, come on, you got a dog who doesn't like dog biscuits. And when you look at the recipes, they might be pretty tasty just on their own. So we'll see how this works. We should have uh, one classroom ready to do this in May. So let's talk a little bit about our success and what we've done. So the workability program, the CDE, California Department of Education, takes a look at all the IEPs that are in um, the systems, and they will make a determination that our Mid-Alameda County SELPA needs to serve a set number of students. What that means to serve a student is a partial list, as you can see on here. That means we're walking them through the things that we said, career assessments, work-based learning, internships, employment training, collaboration, classroom community. This is what we work through um, in order to consider that we have served the students that we're supposed to. And we do this with support of the teachers. And yes, there is a database in WorkAbility through the CDE that we go through to justify this. The other assignment from the CDE is that they take a look at the total number that they want us to serve, and they give us a percent of that they want us to place in business work sites. We were to place 25, we placed 46 so far today. As far as students served, we were to serve 169, we served 194. Where the extra and the served come from, these are from working with classrooms that weren't in the CDE database that I want to say. So the example of that would be at Hayward High. I started working with the teacher Miriam Vin, who's at Hayward High, in her classroom. Her students were not in the database, so they're now built into the database because they've been served. We have a good working relationship with them at this point. So those are our successes so far. And now our strategic partners, we have quite a few of them. And if it wasn't for our strategic partners, it would be very difficult for us to do a lot of the things that we do, especially as we look to transition students from high school to the next step to adult transition and or the life after. So the Department of Rehabilitation, we partner with. Regional Center of the East Bay, we are just starting a partnership with them. We have the Eden Area ROP and the Chabot College Disabled Student Services. Now, talking about the DOR, we also work with Pacific Coast Community Services. Now, between these two organizations, it's like having a one-stop shop for myself and for the teachers, because as we identify students that maybe they can actually work away from WorkAbility, they have skill sets, they have mindsets where they can actually work someplace else, these organizations can help us make that happen. And they can work through the summer. They literally can work all year long. The advantage to it, it's better training for the students, better work opportunities. It frees up some of our budget, so we can then bring in other students in order to take advantage of the WorkAbility the finances. So it's really just, yes, they're being supported from WorkAbility, but their pay is being subsidized by another organization. So Pacific Coast Community Services, they work with the DOR, so they're going to be a huge help for us. It's something that we weren't that embedded with before, but we are now, and we're going to look to bring a great exposure to the teachers between now and the end of May. So again, we're planning to see in August, we're going to come out and see how many students that we can get signed up through the DOR and Pacific Coast Community Services, because it'll be just something special for them. And of course, we're partnered with the Chambers of Commerce and the California Department of Education. Those are our strategic partners. And that is the end of my presentation. And I will stop sharing my screen. And what questions might anybody have?
I'd like to just say one thing. I'm going to put the link to our sign-in sheet in our chat box again. If you joined in later, if you could just fill in the sign-in sheet. Thank you. Okay, I'm done.
I forgot to mention one thing too. Not that big of a deal, but where you are at in your school, in your district, if you feel the need for a parent presentation, like maybe you're having a parent transition evening at your school, give me a call. I'm more than happy to do a parent presentation for something like that. It goes a long way, and I will say, probably the sooner we do things like this in the school year, the better, but better late than never. So again, I'll open up. What questions might anyone have? Okay.
We had two questions in our chat during your presentation. I don't know if
Let me
they were answered, but Princess and Lizzie had questions that they posted.
Okay. Princess, good question. All right. Yes, mild and mod students on the spectrum. What is available for those students who are severe on the spectrum and use like what ACC devices? Maybe they have cochlear implants. These type of things. I'm assuming this is where I showed you the Pacific Coast Community Services. They have specialists that can help us, not just outside of work, but they can help us with people that to give them the training, give us the training. So yes, that would have been a huge challenge probably before, but now working with who we have as partnerships, they do have specialists that can help us and help the maybe the occupational therapist or whomever it would be that's working with them, the hearing specialists, on how to help the person get what they need and even get to gainful employment. There are stats that are out there. I had a follow-up conference call with the PCCS yesterday, and they were sharing with me the success that they have for for students that they have placed in work that are visually impaired, severely visually impaired. And through proper training, they have been able to help them be able to work someplace. So that's a good question. And I'll take note of it. And like I said, we have a good partnership now with an organization that can help us with that. My son is high school as a been working all school throughout these years, reading for, are there programs that will help with teaching him to read so he can eventually join the WorkAbility program? Is he at the high school? I mean, my understanding, the high school should have a reading specialist. Yes?
So I'm sorry, that was my question.
Yes.
Yes, I'm not aware of one. I am working with the counselor as well as his case manager. They still have not responded to any of my emails. My son does go to the counselor in person to speak with them. Still nothing has not been happening. So, and I've already asked for multiple IEP emergency meetings. And I mean, yes, he does have the text to talk and the read aloud, but I was asking specifically for like a reading interventionist or reading tutors.
I see. Okay. Well, Yoko, I'll defer to you. Is that outside my realm, or should we refer?
I think outside of specifically the WorkAbility program,
Right.
but I do think opportunities would be for, like you shared, students who aren't able to go out into the field and leave campus yet, that there are still other opportunities, or if they haven't developed all the skills that are necessary to be placed in a workplace, that like you shared, some of the opportunities to sell the coffee and crafts and other opportunities that are on their site is more of how other students are able to participate within the WorkAbility program.
Okay. Yes.
And
So
I guess maybe also if you could share what that looks like for a lot of students who have different accommodation needs right at the sites, and how they create opportunities for the students with various needs.
Okay. Okay. So Lizzie, I suppose if you could send me information on the student and what the needs are, what the school is, and then I will do some background checking and see what we can find out for you. Because I hear what you're saying. That's a very legitimate request, is that you can have the electronic devices, you could even be proficient in anything else. But yes, being able to read, I can see what we have, and it might be a case where one of our new partnerships can actually help with that. So my email should be on the Evite somewhere, or I can put my screen back on, or I could just put it in the chat.
We'll also be sharing and posting
okay.
the slide presentation,
Okay.
as well as the recording of today's presentation on the SELPA website and SELPA YouTube channel. And I think that actually was the other question from Yvonne as well. That was the last question we
Yes, I
had
saw
in the
that.
chat, in the chats.
Okay. Okay, what other questions might there be? Okay, well,
No
crickets are
questions.
nice. Well, thank you, everybody, for your time. And I would be excited. I know it's April, the school year for most, will end by the end of May. But let's make it a note to do this again in August. I think it's always good to keep things exciting, let everyone know what's going on, and that way drive some accountability everywhere. Maybe you heard some things here that you didn't know before, and hopefully that's the case. And I'm always available to answer anything, so I know that my contact information will be at the end of the slideshow, the very last slide, both with a phone number and an email. And I thank you for the time, and thank you, Yoko and Michelle, for having me on.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you everyone for attending this
Thank
evening.
you, Steve. All
Thanks
right,
so much.
goodbye. Bye, everybody.